That's what you're telling us when you tell us that somebody gonna come out the sky.
That's an evil.
Great shooting, Nisu.
Hold on, can't see the rest of the sentence. Too much fucking holes in it. Look at that shit.
That's right.
Now it's the Holy Bible.
That's right. Clearly the Holy Bible right now.
Act like y'all never seen this before. We saw this February 8th. It's just gonna be worse. It's gonna be worse. Look what we did. The Bible or the bullet. This is what I want them to hear. This is powerful. They follow a God. We can't do our conference because people are dying. So that means people are dying on God's watch. So, why should I believe in him? When is God going to save our people? See, I can't be believing in no crazy shit like that because they've been selling this to us for years. So, they made me atheist. Hebrew Israelites made me atheist. Christians made me an atheist. Muslims made me an atheist because they sold me on a half-truth. That's what they did. They sold me on a half-truth. And the more they perpetuate this half-truth, the more unconvincing the story becomes. So there's an all-knowing God who, for whatever reason, hasn't decided, after the 1,200 years from the trans-Saharan slave trade, after the 400 plus years of the European enslavement, near 2 millenniums, we had to undergo incapacitated, and still they believe in this God. And for some reason, they make excuses for why God suggests to us that we must endure during these hard times that they profess that we're living in to this day. Why do you or anyone else believe in God at this point? It's a lie. It's obviously a lie. Unless you're telling me someone who cared that much about my race doesn't think 1,600 years is enough of oppression. What, we got to do 1 more year? 10 more years? How much more years do we have to go with this all-knowing God who made us his chosen children of Israel, and all we have to do is believe in him or believe in Yahweh, or believe in Christ? How many more years do we got to believe in this nigga before we see some fucking results? See, that's why I'm an atheist. I have to be then. It's someone who doesn't believe in God or gods. You say anything outside of that, I want to see the definition so I can be clear to stand on it. But I have to be an atheist at this particular point because God has not delivered. The only thing they can deliver is speculation. They can deliver me a heaven, but I don't know. No one's coming back from heaven attesting to this shit. But hey, albeit for me to be a pessimist, show me something that God has given us in return for the belief in him. If anybody is more spiritual, it's everybody else who has come to the conclusion that God doesn't exist, because a big part of spirituality is common sense. And once you lose common sense, you lose the sense of spirituality.
Go into the details on the contract. Go ahead.
Your Honor, the plea agreement includes an adjudication, 7 years of state prison, followed by 10 years of reporting probation. As a condition of probation, the defendant will...
When you say 10 years probation. 10
years reporting probation. Okay. The defendant will complete the MDSO program. The defendant will not be allowed to have unsupervised contact with children. The defendant will have specific terms regarding where he may work and the ability to wear a uniform. There are additional terms of restitution, of which $5,000 has been agreed to be paid upfront within 24 hours, mailed to the to the victim, and additional restitution to be paid out on a monthly basis once he is out of custody. And that monthly amount is highlighted in the written terms of the plea agreement. Additionally, there will be a stay-away order from victim TS and her mother, which is also mentioned in the plea agreement.
What is the total amount of the restitution?
The total amount of restitution is $25,000.
Okay. All right.
The defendant's counsel going to be providing probation with the proof of the $5,000 being paid?
Yes, Your Honor. Okay. All right. Okay, so Mr. Nowak, the terms of the plea agreement are as what the prosecutor just stated, that you are going to be entering a plea of guilty to the 2 counts of aggravated child abuse and 1 count of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. You will be adjudicated guilty, which is a criminal conviction on your record. Do you also understand, sir, that by entering into this plea that it may subject you to involuntary civil commitment proceedings set forth in Florida statutes 394.910 through 394.931? Do you understand everything that I've said thus far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to also advise you, sir, that you are going to be sentenced to 7 years in state prison, to be followed by 10 years of reporting probation. In addition to any of these special conditions of probation, you will also participate in and successfully complete a mentally disordered sex offender treatment program, that you are also not eligible. Okay, you may, according to the state, you may be eligible for early termination if all of the conditions of your probation have been completed, that you have had no violations of your probation, and that you have not been arrested for any other criminal offense. Is that correct, State?
And to clarify, the terms stated in 5 is there is no prohibition on early termination. However, there is a requirement that any modification to this agreement be agreed by the state and the court.
Okay. All right, sir. Now, with respect to this plea agreement, I have on each page next to defendant's initials MN. Did you, in fact, affix those initials to each page?
I did.
And have you reviewed each and every component of this plea agreement going through page 1 and through page 4?
I have.
Now it says on page 4, having read the above mentioned terms of this plea agreement and having been advised by my counsel, David Terrace, I, Michael Noak, freely and voluntarily enter into this plea agreement and agree to abide by all terms and conditions of this plea agreement, and agree that failure to comply with any terms or conditions within this agreement constitutes a violation of probation and subjects me to be sentenced to the statutory maximum penalties provided by law for the crimes for which I am now pleading guilty. And then it has a signature over the name Michael Noah. Is that in fact your signature, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I am now going to place my signature on this plea agreement, in that I am now going to be ratifying this plea agreement as negotiated between the state of Florida and your attorney. As in
have gracefully remained silent the last 2.5 years. 2.5 years of pain, shock, disbelief, PTSD, constant nightmares, and daily triggers. Trying to help my daughter heal when I'm not even healed myself. What you have done to my daughter, myself, and my entire family is inexcusable. You hurt us all. You made me believe that you were such a great man and you could do no wrong. You made me fully trust you, and for that my daughter trusted you too. But the truth is, you're a monster, a demon. The very first time that I allowed you to be alone with my daughter, the very first time, and you couldn't even help yourself. You told me you was gonna be right back. We were going downstairs. We were gonna grab food and take vacation pictures.